Welcome to Winning the Rig Game. As always, this is not investing advice. This is just a way to share my ideas and thoughts about the market. This is a video I've been thinking about for a little bit, the Cybertruck and baby Cybertruck. When I saw the news about the two-door Cybertruck, it really got my mind going. To be honest, I haven't been a fan of the design of the Cybertruck. I've been a huge fan of its capabilities and what it's going to be able to do. It's going to be a huge success, 100%. I am absolutely sure of that. Now, the design is controversial. Like I said, I was never a fan of the Cybertruck, but it was just too radical, too different for me. I could understand the engineering benefits, and the decisions that they made were brilliant. Stainless steel, no rust, no need to paint. The design, the aerodynamics of the truck are very good. You wouldn't think so just looking at it, but it is substantially better than a traditional pickup truck. Now, last week we had the semi-truck unveil, and that event was very useful for putting together some pieces. One, a lot of people didn't think that the semi-truck would be able to achieve 500 miles plus range. So that was impressive. They also announced that the Cybertruck will be able to use the version 4 chargers. What else did we learn? Well, we learned the semi-truck is using the Tesla Model S plaid motors. Those motors are carbon wrapped, and I'll put in a video about that, but they're really high performance motors. They're also going to end up in the Cybertruck. Now, I apologize. I'm probably going to be bouncing all over the place, stream of consciousness, and I have a bunch of thoughts on the Cybertruck and other things, so bear with me in this video. One of the things I didn't care for about the Cybertruck was just the one color, the one look. It is possible to change the color by heating the metal, tempering it, and producing different colors. That process is supposed to weaken the metal, so I'm not sure how feasible or likely it will be, or if Tesla will do it. I've seen the Cybertruck with a wrap, camouflage wrap, and I said, "Ooh, man, that actually looks pretty damn good." I've always been a fan of two-door vehicles. I've never cared for four-door vehicles. I think the second door sort of oftentimes ruins the lines of a car. One of the designs in the Peterson Museum regarding the Cybertruck was a two-door model. There's also been a lot of people in Europe calling for a smaller Cybertruck. The Cybertruck's also going to have a hard time fitting into a lot of people's garage. I wonder if they're going to be giving us a surprise when they launched the Cybertruck by unveiling a two-door version. I'll be honest, I think the two-door version, at least the design, looks a lot better to me. And that one I might actually be interested in getting. Never been a truck guy, but with the right wrap on it, that would look pretty damn cool. So what else is positive for the Cybertruck? Well, for one thing, we started seeing what we believe are GigaPress parts being delivered to Giga Austin. Joe Tegmeyer, again, doing a great job. Shout out to him again. Caught one of the pieces being delivered on a massive truck. It has to be a Giga casting part for the Cybertruck. We've also seen, again, caught by Joe Tegmeyer, what we think are maybe frames for the Cybertruck and helping with the production, setting up the Giga casting equipment. So those were delivered earlier. I was hoping for early production of the Cybertruck in 2022, but that's probably not going to happen. I haven't talked about it, but I'm a retired NYPD cop, and I think the Cybertruck is going to be a massive seller for police departments, not just in the US, but all over the world. I also think the military is going to use the hell out of these. So one, they have the locking back cover. Elon stood on it, if you remember the video with him and Jay Leno, and I had never seen that before. I thought that was pretty impressive. It also can be wrapped. I'm going to post a bunch of pictures of people doing mock-ups with what a Tesla police vehicle would look like. As a former cop, I can definitely see the appeal of this. For one thing, it's bullet resistant to a 9mm round. That is huge. The glass is extremely protective. Imagine you're a cop in a crowd with a riot or manifestation, people throwing bottles or whatever. I would want to be in a Cybertruck versus any other vehicle, or at least commercial vehicle. So the semi-truck had 3 motors, one always engaged at any given time, one plaid motor for efficiency, and one for torque, and one for acceleration or speed. I think we're probably going to have a similar design, where rumor has it that the Cybertruck is not going to have a single motor design. We'll have to see. Another benefit for police is it's supposed to be able to float for a little bit. I also think the 4680s are going to be a key part of the Cybertruck production, and I was shocked when the 2170s were used for the semi-truck. I don't think it's a requirement, but it will help with the scale of production. Again, I've done a video where I was a little disappointed about the 4680s because of what I thought to be insufficient power density. Tesla's working on it. They're going to achieve better power density. Even if it was just as good as the 2170s, it's still worth doing because of the speed of production. Again, Tesla's working on fixing all those issues. They got the best engineers, and they absolutely will solve every engineering challenge. I have no doubt. So going back to police departments, another advantage for police departments is low maintenance, relatively long range. So police officers are generally driving around a city or county. Maybe the state troopers might be doing much longer range, or in places like Texas. But if they're able to use the V4 mega chargers, they could charge up relatively quickly, and that's a huge benefit. Another thing that Elon had mentioned in the past, he was asked about having camping mode for the back of the truck. They also have a Tesla Cybertruck seat patent, which I think will allow for camping mode basically in the back of the truck. So if you're a hunter or an outdoorsman and you're driving in the back country, you can have an air mattress sleep in the back of the pickup truck and close up the top. If it starts raining, you're going to be fine. You don't have to worry about anything. Everything this truck is going to be capable of doing is going to be incredible. Okay, for now, I think that's all I have on the Cybertruck. Another thing I wanted to talk about was Project Highland. So this is the redesign or refresh of the Model 3. Those rumors have been leaking, and we're probably going to see that sometime next year. We've also seen photos of a covered up Model 3, actually two of them. And it looks like one of the things that they're doing is moving up the camera closer to the corner. I think that's probably a good idea, and we could see that being reflected in other vehicles. So the Model Y has been outselling the Model 3, and Elon predicted this. There's no surprise to that. I think the difference between those sales is getting substantial. So when the Model Y was announced, it shared about 70% of the parts with the Model 3. Well, things have changed. The Model Y in Austin is switching over to the rear casting and eventually the front casting, and has the structural battery pack. So as things progress and they make more changes, the difference in sharing the same parts between the Model 3 and the Model Y get more and more substantial. That's one of the reasons I think that Tesla will be doing a refresh of the Model 3, and chances are it'll have front and rear casting. Oh, by the way, of course, the Cybertruck is going to have giga casting of the frame itself, so that's why they're getting the 9,000 ton giga press from Hydra. The Model 3 upgrade will probably have the structural battery pack and the 4680s. Now, another thing, remember, we're waiting on supposedly a new high definition radar that will be useful in maybe bad and inclement weather. So Tesla recently removed the radar module because, quite frankly, it was not as good as the vision and actually interfering with the vision system. Supposedly with the high definition radar, that will no longer be in conflict and should be able to work better with the vision system. So we'll see if that actually pans out. And remember, just a few weeks ago, we got rumors that there's supposed to be better cameras, 5 megapixel camera, which should also help with full self-driving on pure vision only. There might be some style changes, maybe internal, to simplify things. Remember, Tesla talked about having drive-by-wire, and we don't know whether that's going to be in the Cybertruck. It is in the Canoe. If you hadn't seen that video by Sandy Monroe, check out the Canoe video. They're using the 2170 batteries from Panasonic, which I thought was very interesting. I don't know if Canoe will survive. I'm not invested in the company, but again, I was pretty impressed with what they came up with. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Tesla's going to do with their van. Hopefully we'll see something like that unveiled soon. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what's going on with Tesla right now. Just to wrap up, there's all sorts of FUD right now about Tesla. The long knives are coming after Elon because he bought Twitter, and maybe he's exposing some corruption and things like that. Maybe the left is mad at him and the right loves him. Definitely, he's become much more politically vocal. Now, that's probably not great for Tesla shareholders, but it is what it is. Elon's not backing down. And it sort of reminds me of when a detective, when they start investigating a case and it gets personal, they're not giving up. And it's pretty obvious to me that Elon is not giving up. He's basically conducting an investigation as to what was going on at Twitter. Now, I don't think we're going to get Elon back to Tesla anytime soon until this is all done. So the faster he can get that stuff done and out in the press and find a CEO to run Twitter, the better it will be for Tesla shareholders. I do believe that he wants to create X.com and make the everything app, and I have no doubt that he'll achieve that. It'll take several years, and hopefully he starts paying more attention to Tesla because we can invest in Tesla. So one of the things in the press is lack of demand in China, in in the US. I don't know if that's true. I sort of doubt it. I think the press just is fundamentally dishonest. So I'm always skeptical about anything in the press. We have seen discounts, which makes a lot of sense. Starting in less than a month in the US, we're going to have a tax credit, which is going to be a huge benefit. I think a lot of people are waiting for that. As a result, Tesla has been offering a discount of $3,750 on existing vehicles. They're doing all they can to pull every lever to achieve a good Q4. And in China, same thing. Now, there are a lot of factors that affect China and what's going on in Shanghai. Supposedly, the Chinese government is going to be less restrictive or less willing to do lockdowns and move away from COVID-0. That's a huge benefit because that was a huge negative overhang. At any time, they could have closed the factory. At least they're moving in the right direction. Supposedly, they've offered these incentives and sold a ton of vehicles that were in inventory. We'll have to see. We'll get the numbers early in January from China and we'll have a better idea. The truth is right now, it's really hard to evaluate if there is any kind of demand issue in China or the US. The economy is very rough in China and let's face it, not that great in the US, but Q4 should be strong. I think they'll come in around 1.4 million, maybe a little more. Their margins might take a little bit of a hit. And again, the strength of the US dollar is something to be concerned about. It's come down, so it probably won't be as bad as Q3. Remember, Q3, they took a $250 billion hit because of currency exchange. Hopefully, the Ukraine-Russian war will come to an end at some point. It'll take some time, but oil prices are dropping, which puts tremendous pressure on Russia. We have the Fed meeting next week and CPI numbers. So we'll see what comes out of those. That's going to be moving the market. The last thing I'm going to talk about is on Friday, supposedly Tesla had an emergency board meeting with Elon. He said it apparently, and shout out to Oracle Tim of Oracle Investments and Royce, but they were in the chat and talking about it. And that's good news. That's probably about a Tesla share buyback. Again, we don't know, but Gary Black has talked about it and pointed out that Tesla's really got to decide or do the paperwork for a Tesla share buyback by December 15th, because if not, they get into a blackout period and they won't be able to. I think we're going to find out this week about a Tesla share buyback. We'll either know about it on Monday or Tuesday, and if not, well, forget it. It's not happening this year. I think that's about it for now. If you can, remember to hit the bell, the like button, subscribe, leave a comment. I hope you liked the video. Thanks for watching.